Crystal Palace, Fulham, big game for Fulham. You know, as they try and dig their way out of the relegation zone. They managed to turn it around and heading in the right direction. Without Mr. Saha playing for Crystal Palace, they're also, you know, a bit of a toothless team. Yeah. And I fancy Fulham to get one over on them in this game and win 1-0.
Can I start going first, and then you can say the same results as me? I'm not couldn't have said it better. Yeah, without Wilfried Zaha, there's not much in the hopes of sort of goal scoring capacity for Crystal Palace. Fulham really do need this one. You know, and Fulham have shown that they can kind of scrap it a little bit. So yeah, 1-0 for me, Fulham.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you guys. I think Fulham have been able to show steel. They're winning games. They're now just 3 points off Newcastle. So they're going to pull them back in. And actually 4 points off Brighton. So they also might be pulled in as well. And I honestly think if you guys watched the Crystal Palace game against Brighton earlier this week, they only had 2 touches in their box and they scored 2 goals. And Brighton were completely battering them. So I think this time around, Fulham will get the job done. And I do say as well, Fulham 1-0.
A game now that we'll let Ollie start with, even though you're a more keen follower than us. Leicester versus Arsenal.
Yeah, I think similar nature to the Leeds Aston Villa game, perhaps a little bit less scrappy. Scrappy. I'm going to be going with a 2-2 result here again. I think Arsenal have been on a sort of upwards trajectory in the sense that they're not really losing, and when they are, it's not by big margins, but Leicester are always a team capable of scoring goals. With that being said, Arsenal coming back and have been able to score, you know, so again, I don't think it's the kind of game that's going to end in under 2 goals. So, and I do think it's going to be a draw, and by that logic, 2-2.
Okay. Shakes, I'll let you go now.
Yeah, no, I have to be honest as well. Look, as much as I do love the beloved Arsenal, I just think Leicester are in good form and they're starting to find themselves and they're starting to get some really good results lately as well. Even having to beat Aston Villa, beating Liverpool, they've done really well. And if I had to predict my honest opinion, hand on heart, I think Leicester wins this one 2-1. It's painful to say this, but...
Shakes, I couldn't agree with you more. You know, if Leicester was any other name than the brand Leicester, they'd be getting a lot more respect, you know? They're sitting, third in the table? Yeah. You know, they've done pretty much what's been asked for them. They're punching above their weight again. And for me, Arsenal, I disagree with Ollie that, you know, they're only trending up because they're not sinking. It means that they're just floating to the surface. And it's not exactly my idea of trending up. You know, Vardy back. Arsenal have looked a bit better, but not strong enough to beat Leicester away. I'm going to go 2-1 Leicester at home to Arsenal. Now the Tottenham Hotspur.
I mean, Spurs, Shakes, I'm not sure if you watched the game. I think it was last night.
I did.
Dele Alli scoring an absolute wonder goal. Gareth Bale knocking one in. I mean, do you think just on a side note, do you think Jose is going to start just considering him in the Premier League now, Dele?
Look, I think he definitely did put in a good performance. But here's one thing about Tottenham, and you guys. I mean, look, Tottenham they're not going to fool me on this one. It's the opposition that they played was really, really bad. Like, I honestly can see them beating Wolfsburger. I think the team's from Austria. I'm not really sure, but I can see them beating that team 4-0 and losing 1-0 to Burnley over the weekend. I can see that happen. I really can. I think he held his hand up. Dele Alli, I think he definitely does deserve a chance to sort of be within the Premier League team as well. Scored a very good goal, provided 2 goals as well. Yeah, I think he definitely deserves a chance. But if you're asking me on a prediction that's going to happen this weekend, 1-1 for me.
Wow.
I'm going to have to back Tottenham here. I'm going to go 1-0. I think Burnley is a tough team to beat, but come on, Spurs, you can't. Come on.
I don't even know what Spurs' aspirations are anymore. I mean, they're so far down the table.
Yeah. All from grace.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Carabao Cup.
The Carabao Cup. The only thing, I mean, it's great reading all the headlines, you know, that Mourinho saying he's second to none in his methods and all this stuff. Because it seems to be a very unhappy Spurs camp right now.
Yeah.
So I could see easily an upset here, especially as Tottenham played this week. But I would have to think that they've got enough in the tank to take apart Burnley. I'm going to say 2-0 Tottenham.
Yeah, on Mourinho, it's just, I wrote a piece right at the beginning of the season saying they've got in a great manager, but is he suitable to the Spurs dynamic? And you look at Spurs and they've got these really great individual talents that play expressively and freely, which granted against bad opposition last night, there was a little bit more autonomy in the way the guys played. But you've got these like very expressive players playing into like quite a prehistoric footballing sort of attitude, with Mourinho. So it's interesting. He says his methods are second to none, but perhaps not in London.
No. What's your pick?
My pick, I said 1-0 to Tottenham.
Okay,
yeah.
1-0 to Tottenham. Sorry, yeah, you're right. Look, it's you either love or hate him, don't you? There's no sort of in between, and I'm not a fan, as I've made it known. Chelsea versus Man United, probably the pick of the week for entertainment and intrigue.
Yeah, look, the first game between them this season ended in a 0-0 draw, I believe. I think we're going to see the same thing this weekend, 1-1 at Stamford Bridge. Given that United has been better away from home than they've been at home, Chelsea's also been on a great streak since Thomas Tuchel took over. They then dropped points to Southampton. Understandable, but bigger teams have dropped to smaller teams in this season's Premier League, and I think it's one of those games that United will be happy to go there on Chelsea's form and get a draw, and I don't think Chelsea will be distraught if they come away with a point from it as well. And I think it's going to be similar to that first Liverpool City game, where guys are just sort of picking away at each other, very conservatively. So I'm predicting a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, they haven't lost since bringing in their coach.
Yeah.
Man United have been in a recent run of form, decent run of form. But something I just see a draw in this game as well. I think 1-1. I just don't see anybody winning this game. And like you said, I think that both teams will be content with a point.
Yeah. Shake, surprise us. Shake it up.
Look, it's a it's a big game, of course, and it's probably, you would argue and say it's Thomas Tuchel's first big challenge, technically, right? And I think he needs to win to get space between him and Everton and Liverpool, and he needs to win for that. And I'm actually going to go with a surprise result and say Manchester United 2-1.
Okay. Interesting. Nice.
And game of the weekend.
Game of the weekend.
We've got Liverpool versus Sheffield United.
Oh, game of the weekend. Oh, yeah. I never thought that I wouldn't be a non-interested part viewer in this game, but who cares?
I'd prefer to just not view this game. Yeah. Not out of not caring, out of caring.
Liverpool's lost the plot. I don't know what they're playing for. Maybe the Champions League, and they should just focus on that.
It's just, there's a host of problems there. And
when you've got Leeds breathing down your neck, you got some problems.
Hey.
What are you laughing at? When you're looking up at Leeds, you've got problems.
Don't worry about us. Coming into the season, I'm sure we'll be all right. But I got to tell you guys, I know Liverpool have been on a bad run. I still didn't think Sheffield would be able to beat Liverpool. But when Henderson went out with an injury,
a bad run is what you get in Delhi after you drink water. These guys are on something I've never seen.
Look, okay, they obviously have been horrendous, but now not only is their first three choice centre backs or first four, but Henderson is now out as well, and the leadership that he provides as well. I can't believe I'd ever be saying this. The team in last place, that are only on 11 points, have a good chance to beat Liverpool this weekend. And I actually think, will they? I think they're going to do it. I think Sheffield.
It's a good thing you froze there, because I think you were going to say something really stupid.
Wow. The football gods are trying to make sure I don't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Sheffield United 1, Liverpool 0 this weekend.
Da, 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 da. Wow.
I'll pretend like you were still frozen. Though.
Yeah. Drop the mic and get the fuck out of here.
It's
I can't, I'm having a hard time coming up with anything to support Liverpool's case for this game other than they're playing Sheffield United. That's if it was any other team than the one clinging to the bottom of the Premier League. But I can see it. I could see it. And I may well put down a tickler on it at the odds. What are the odds?
I think it's 10 points. We've got 6.57.
They've shrunk it 6.57. If that was at the beginning of the year,
West Ham,
you would have gotten 20-1 on them.
Yeah.
I think also, guys, if you guys haven't heard the latest news regarding Liverpool as well, is that Alisson's father drowned and he's passed away, unfortunately. It's this team, unfortunately, is not getting luck at all, and they have to still carry on playing. And not only is it the injuries, but also Klopp's mother recently as well. So confidence is quite low, and it's very unfortunate that the show must go on, and that's why I think Sheffield United have a really good chance this weekend to beat Liverpool. And no one saw Sheffield beating United, by the way. No one saw it happening, but it happened.
Yeah. Well, I still can't. You've been compelling, and if I was a juror, you've created reasonable doubt. But I have to go with the brand Liverpool to beat the non-brand Sheffield United. I just, something in my psychosis just won't allow me to pick Sheffield United. So as our cameraman's just pissing himself laughing and shaking his head in disbelief because you're a big Liverpool fan. Sorry, Ahmad, I'm going to go Liverpool to squeak out an own goal win, 1-0.
Yeah, I'm going to be more generous than you. Every bad streak does come to an end, and if it has to come to an end against anyone, Jesus, it has to be Sheffield. So 2-0 to Liverpool. Okay. They have to do it. For me, for Ahmad.
I think Shakes just throwing us a bone there because he's so far ahead.
Yeah.
And then the last game of the weekend, we've got Everton versus Southampton.
Everton versus Southampton. Interesting game. Everton just, you never know what you're getting with that team. I think, you're gonna get a goal or two each game, but I think for their promise at the start of the season, they haven't really maintained that top six kind of quality. Southampton pulled off a good win against Chelsea last weekend, obviously. But I think this is the kind of game that's got a draw written over it as well. I think it's going to be a weekend full of draws, and I could see a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know if you guys have seen Southampton's form recently in the league, especially. They have been dreadful, guys, and I mean dreadful. Like it's to a place where you sort of think maybe they're gonna get pulled into the relegation fight, really, at the rate that things are going. And I think obviously Everton got the big win against Liverpool. Will definitely boost their spirits, their confidence. And as for Southampton, I just think it's going to be another weekend of sadness, and it's going to be 2-0 to Everton.
Yeah, like anytime a team, statistically or percentage-wise, has got a winning percent under 5% over the last 7 games, they've taken 1 out of 21 points, which equates to about a 4.3 or something win percentage. I'm gonna have to take Everton to give them a beating. 2-0, agree. Southampton have offered very little this half of the season.
Very true. Yeah, bit of a fall from their start.
Yeah, for sure.